Let's welcome Laurie Wondra.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. I would like everyone just to take a deep breath. As you shared, I do work with the angels and guides, and they woke me up at about 4:30 this morning. Just so excited to be here. That's the energy that we're starting to feel because the angels and our guides are wanting to connect with us. And so I'm going to share some of their messages today that will help you connect with them. Anyone feeling that you've been in this crazy energy for the last few months? In fact, April has been really jittery, okay? And I don't want to apologize, but I'm feeling the angels come in already this morning. So if suddenly you feel warm, you've just been joined by an angelic being this morning or a guide that's wanting to assist and help. And I'm just going to introduce. I'm going to ask them to pause a little bit. I was asked this morning what I'm going to talk about, and I shared that sometimes I don't know what I'm going to talk about because I just channel. Over the years, I've prepared education classes, and I show up with a whole itinerary, and nothing gets spoken about because they come in. So this morning, I want to welcome Archangel Michael, and Archangel Michael is the protector. He protects us, but his job is to remove any fear from our lives. And fear is the number one thing that stops us from moving forward. So when we bump up against a career change, a relationship change, a moving of our house, something in our life, check your gut, check your energy and see if that's fear, and then ask for Archangel Michael to come in and help. Because the other thing that they want to remind us today is that we forget to ask them for help. Sometimes they come in when it's a risk or we're in trouble, but many times we need to ask them to come in. So I'm inviting Archangel Michael to come in today, and if you would like him to come into your lives, just take a moment to invite him into your life today and remove any fear that you might have, and a fear might show up as that roadblock that's preventing you from moving forward. And if you're feeling a sudden rush of heat, that's a really good way to know that he's joined you because he carries the flame and the torch. So just sit in his energy for just a moment. We're also joined by Archangel Raphael this morning, and Raphael is the healer angel. So he heals at the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual level. And so sometimes in that fear, those roadblocks that we get stuck in, we just need a little bit of that healing energy to help us jump over those hurdles. And the way the planetary energies are happening right now, there's a lot of hurdles in front of us. Anyone experiencing that in their lives? Major changes, major energy changes in our lives right now. Our frequency is changing. Let me just talk a little bit about frequency. Okay, thank you. I need to invite the light beings in this morning. The light beings come from a higher frequency, and when I say frequency, we all vibrate at a frequency. So if you've ever been out walking and you've walked under a power line, you hear that buzzing. If you were to hook stereo equipment up to us, we'd all make sound. And we all make different sounds. We'd be like a choir right now. And sometimes when our energy is off, our notes are flat, okay? And we need to come back into alignment. That's where the angels can help. So the light beings come in at a higher frequency than the angels do. They come in and they want to teach our analytical brains because we want to analyze the heck out of everything, don't we? Sometimes we just don't trust what's happening. We doubt ourselves. We're all intuitive beings, but we doubt the energy. We doubt the information that comes to us. And that's another thing that's shifting for us. In this higher frequency, we have the ability to tap into that intuitive spirit within us if we learn to quiet the analytical brain. The light beings come in because we still have that need to have those analytical answers. So if I'm working with a group or individuals and they want to know the definitive answer, sometimes the collective light comes in and handles that. All right. I also want to open it up for if there's any questions because I'm a teacher of teachers. That means you're all teachers, you're all healers, you're all intuitive beings. And if something doesn't make sense to you, then please stop and ask. You're all here for a reason. Whatever drew you here, there's information for you here. There's energy here. So even if there's not a nugget, you walk out the door, you're picking up universal codes. And what's that mean? So there's energy and frequency in the air all the time. We're getting downloaded information all the time. There's indicators all the time. We just have to tune our radar or tune our receptors to pick up that information. Anyone notice the change in animals recently? Eagles, robins, hawks. Anybody have strange animals running through their backyard or their front yard? What? A coyote. Coyote, fox. Yeah. Owls, yes. Wisdom, go within. The animals are at a higher frequency than we are, so they're receptive to this energy that's coming in, okay? The end of 2012, the Earth physically went through the center of the galaxy, and with that shift, the planet frequency elevated. So trees, plants, rocks. If you work with crystals, some people have had crystals that have broken or have adjusted. So those frequencies have shifted. Then the animals shifted in their energy, and then we're next. So we're going through this huge shift of energy. Anybody lose most of their appliances last year? Electronics got broken, fried, you had to replace all sorts of kitchen equipment. So the frequency, as the frequency has changed, things that no longer serve or no longer work in that frequency need to go away, okay? So if you think of your own lives, where are some things perhaps that you've needed to shift, or some things maybe need to go away? And they need to go away for the new to come in, okay? So as we go through this frequency shift, it can be very painful for us if we choose for it to be very painful. Or we can see it as an opportunity, that perhaps it's an opportunity to release the old and to allow the new to come in. Okay. So the planetary configuration right now is helping us move through this shift. So do we have any astrologers in here? Anybody that watches the planets? There's something called a grand cross that's happening to us right now. And the grand cross just means there's 4 planetary configurations that are opposing each other. The peak of that is going to be on Tuesday. Tuesday is also a lunar eclipse. So all these energies have been mounting and have been pushing. So if you think about things that keep repeating in your life, you're getting pushed to change. Anyone have that happening? I thought I dealt with this already. I thought I was done with this. And it shows up again. We're going deeper in our layers, deeper in our DNA, deeper in karma for us. Many of us have come into this lifetime with karma or energy that we've carried over from previous lifetimes, and we're needing to work through it. So the planets are helping us work through. So don't think of those changes as painful. Step back and say, what's the opportunity here? What's the information that I need to glean from this? Okay. I just have to draw attention. There's a beautiful purple beam that's coming down in that back. So there's probably some healers back in that corner there that you're getting information. I'm sorry to draw attention to you, but Archangel Michael is just saying you're getting information. And so if you came today to ask for information or just to validate what you already know, you're getting your answers downloaded. Does that make sense? Okay. There's a number of, okay. So in this frequency that we're moving into, so what does Tuesday mean for us? And I have to pause a minute. It's kind of, for me, it's standing up here, it's connecting with your energies, but there's like 50 people talking at me at once. So I know that you have a lot of loved ones that are wanting to jump in and to speak. And so I'm being very respectful of them too, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hear from some of your loved ones here in a little bit. So I want to talk a little bit about Tuesday, what Tuesday means for us. So with this lunar eclipse, it's a chance for you to be in the energies that are right now, those things that are pushing you. It's a great time to start things. Has anyone heard the phrase, our thoughts become our words, become our actions, become how we live? So if you think about where you are today, something you thought at one time manifested today. So if you think today, what are you going to manifest in the future? Okay? And I want you to hold that thought, because later on when we do our closing and our meditation, I want you to send those good thoughts out to the universe. Because the universe listens to our thoughts and our words and how we live. And if we don't send out those messages, the universe doesn't know what to deliver on, right? If we're confused, the universe might not know what to deliver on. So we live our lives with intent, and we use the planetary energies to set that intent and to be focused on what we want to move towards or what we want to bring into our lives. So Tuesday, the lunar eclipse, is a great time to put those intents out to the universe and to use the energies of the universe to manifest at some point in your life. It's just how quickly you want to manifest. Is anyone also noticing how quickly they are manifesting? You put a thought out, good or bad, and it happens. Time is going faster. Energy is going faster. The frequency is going faster. So I recommend choose your thoughts, choose your words, choose your actions, because you're manifesting right now. You're manifesting. Okay. So on Tuesday, some good things to do: journal, meditate, do yoga, clear out the old, welcome the new in. All right? I'm just looking at energy here for a moment. I'm centering energy. Yes?
So these are all sound like positive things, and change of energy and all that, challenges also. But I also noticed that there are climatic problems going on all over the world. Are we until the planet is going to end?
So the question is there's events around the world. There's climate changes, but there's also people events around the world. And the planet is not going to end. So there are some articles on the internet saying that this is symbolic of the end of our time, these four eclipses in 2014. That's not the case. It's the end of what we know. We're in a change, we're in a shift. We started going through that shift at the end of 2012. We really started going through at the end of 2013. What's uncomfortable for us is we've not yet manifested, or we've not yet moved into what we are to be. We're in this kind of a boat without oars. We're kind of moving in the ocean. And it feels uncomfortable because we are a culture of drivers, a culture of always having a plan and working towards that. And so it's really uncomfortable. Is anyone experiencing that right now? I left something. I feel like I should be doing something, but I don't know what that is yet. And it's driving us crazy. We're in this rest period, and I call it rest. We don't want to say I'm in this crazy period. We're in a rest period, right? We're in a rest period that's allowing us time to investigate who we are at our core and manifest for the future. And if we put it in terms that way, number one, it's a little bit more comfortable to use those words. Two, we're putting words out to the universe that help us manifest what we want to bring in. They want to come back to the world events and the climate changes also. So the climate changes, whether it's tsunamis and earthquakes and storms and those types of volcanoes erupting, the earth is still shifting. That's part of this frequency shift that we're going through, and we feel it. So if you are a light worker, energy worker, no doubt, if something is happening on the other side of the world, you are going to feel it, because we're all one. And remember that also. So if you have days where you just feel really tired or really sad, my daughter was telling me last week, she went for a 2-hour walk and she just cried, and she didn't know why. there's events that are happening around the world, and if you're aware of your own energy field and you are aware that you are a sponge, a human sponge for those emotions and that energy, you can pinpoint sometimes you can pinpoint where that's coming from. So if you feel, the advice I gave to her is this your energy or someone else's? So when you feel that shift in your own energy field, the first thing is stop and ask, is this mine? Or is this somebody else's, or is it global? And if you feel it's global, so if you happen to watch the news or you happen to catch those news stories and there are global events, push love out to it. Open up and push love out too. We used to teach the way to shield ourselves was to encase ourselves in white light. And that works sometimes, but a more loving way is to push love out. Because when you push love out, that naturally protects your space, and it contributes to the oneness of the energy of the globe, okay? So this week on Tuesday, there is speculation that there's going to be some global events, and there might be storms and volcanoes and earthquakes, and just be aware that the energies are pushing us. They're pushing us to move forward. The question for all of you is, what are they pushing you for? Or what are they pushing you to? And it might be pushing you to let go of some things so that you create space for the new to come in, okay? So between next Tuesday and the end of April, these energies are going to be really intense. So if you are in an environment, corporate America, or just a busy office space or a store, retail, whatever that is, know that everyone around you is also feeling this energy, but they might not have the context that you have. So it's a good time to open your heart and send love out. And I just want to take a moment and ask you to just pause for a moment, take a deep breath, envision the center of your chest being a huge globe of light. And it can be pink or white or green. And envision that light moving outward into the universe. And when we do that opening up and that push out into the universe, we are connecting with others that are at that frequency. When I say frequency, love, compassion, joy, laughter, bliss, those are all high frequency. Those are high buzzing noise energies. And you want to connect with those because they make us feel good. But they also offer clarity for us. Low energies are stress, tiredness, depression, anxiety, the worry. You can't be creative when you're in that state of worry. They're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. So we don't want to connect with energies of the low frequency. So if you find yourself in those frequencies, make it your goal to shift them. Make a conscious goal to shift them into a higher frequency so that you connect at a higher frequency. Some really good ways to move your energy. Do we have any dancers in here? Dancing and music are awesome ways to move your energy very quickly. Laughter. Go out with friends and have laughter. See a comedy. Be playful. As adults, we forget to be playful, and being silly or playful. Sometimes if you have kids, it's a little bit easier. But if you aren't around kids, it's a little bit harder to remember sometimes to just be playful. Those things quickly shift us into that higher frequency. And when we're in that higher frequency, we can connect with our angels and guides because they're wanting to work with us. They're wanting to communicate to us. When our frequency is at a lower frequency, it's almost as if we have a haze over us. So we might suffer more sleepiness. We don't have any energy. We can't think clearly. And the angels really are wanting us to get us out of that space because we're on this fast track to change, right? To ramp up our frequency. So they're wanting to move us into a higher frequency, and they're wanting to help us. So one, ask for help. Ask for the angels to come in. And if you don't know who to ask, just ask the angels to come. Be present. A really good time to do that is right away in the morning, before you jump out of bed. So if your alarm clock goes off, linger for just a moment and ask the angels to come in and connect. Right before you go to bed is another time to connect with the angels. And if you have a pressing issue or pressing question, that's also a really good time to take a moment and write that out. Write it out on a piece of paper. Sometimes we just want to think about it, but there's a connection, there's a scientific connection between our brain and when we write things out. So write it out. And then before you jump out of bed in the morning, see if the answers came to you. And if the answers didn't come to you, write it out again that same night. Keep on it. Okay? I'm going to open it up for any questions here if there's any questions in the room. Yes?
Maybe this is just out of curiosity, but I'm just wondering why this year has been so real. Why 2014? So much has changed for me for good, but it was so quick. I'm wondering why now.
Yep. So the question is why 2014? What's the magic about this year? Couple of things. One, the universe moved through the center, or the earth moved through the center of the universe in 2012. We had to disconnect. So 2013 was often disconnecting from the old and letting go. So many people experienced that disconnecting, shutting off, letting go. 2014 is like, okay, you put some plans in place, or maybe you're on this journey path and you haven't really started it yet, so you got time to make up. So you're on a fast track. It's also the Chinese New Year, the year of the horse, okay? So if you think of riding a horse, the horse is about freedom, running, galloping, fast galloping, but we often get scared. So if you've ever ridden a horse and the horse takes off on you, your first inclination is to pull back on the reins, right? Whoa, I don't want to do this. That's what we do as humans too, is we get going on our ramp and we throw up those roadblocks. We throw up that fear. And what we're being pushed to do is to work through that fear, to jump over those hurdles. But you will notice the year of the horse is fast, stop, fast, stop. So you might be in the process of ramping up on your journey path and all of a sudden you hit a roadblock and you're stopped. And you're frustrated with that. That's when you get to ask, what's the opportunity here? We're going deep. What's the opportunity? What am I supposed to learn? Be patient. Patience might be the thing you have to learn. Letting go might be the thing that you have to learn. Learning, letting someone else, receiving, might be the thing that you have to learn. We don't think oftentimes that receiving is a roadblock for us, but it might be. So the year of the horse. Anybody galloping out of the gate? You're not going to fall off. Remember, you are not going to fall off. Yes?
In terms of numerology, 2014 is also a 7, which is conquering the third dimensional plane, rising above your fears.
Yes. Thank you. So 2014 in numerology is the number 7, which is the conqueror, which is
14 is the elephants turning lead into gold.
it is manifesting.
Yeah.
So it's all in alignment, and it's trusting. It's trusting that we are in alignment. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. You are perfect. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And if you pause in those words for a moment and let the universe step in and then help guide you as to what's next, those next steps can be a little easier. So yes, 2014 is a really powerful year. And for the teachers and the healers and the light workers, you're being called to teach more, speak more. There's more information available to all of us because the beings that are beyond this third dimension that you spoke of are wanting to come in and help us They don't want to see us stuck in this third dimension. And as we leave this third dimension, you might ask, well, what's next? What's beyond the third dimension? It's actually a higher frequency, fourth and fifth dimension. And depending on where you are in your journey path and where you are projecting to go, you might be already teetering in that fifth dimension energy. You might be struggling to go into the fourth dimension. You might have loved ones around you that are struggling to move into that higher frequency. Anybody experiencing that? You're ready to go, but you have loved ones that are just not coming along. Your role might be to be patient, and they'll come. Your role might be that you just need to keep going and trust that they're going to come with. And your role might be you need to go alone. That's part of our learning that we're moving into. We are being driven to be with like beings and like energies, okay? So as you move into a higher frequency and as you move into the state of manifesting, you will notice those more quickly around you that are not. You will start to feel some conflict. You'll start to feel some pressure. Anyone experiencing that? Something that was maybe okay a few years ago or last year is no longer okay. I'm seeing that a lot in the workspace, too. It's like, why can I not stand to be here anymore? Yeah. The energies are different. And if you're in that corporate environment or if you're in that environment, pause for a minute and just say, perhaps Spirit has put me here because I am a pivotal point in helping this environment shift. Perhaps that's your role. And so instead of fighting, instead of saying, oh, I just hate going into the office today, I can't stand it, have a new practice to breathe into the energy and say, okay, Spirit, what am I supposed to learn today? What can I bring into this group today? If you have visited my website at all, I am a corporate executive, so I sit in the boardroom a lot. And a lot recently, I sit literally, my hands under the table, and I just hold space. That's just my role. I hold space for others to maybe come in and help move and do that work. Okay. Other questions? Yes?
Sometimes it feels like instead of just one path, there's multiple paths that we're on, and like you were talking about the work path, and then there's all the people that I grew up with, and some of them have moved away, but all of a sudden I'm starting to reconnect with people I haven't seen in
Yep.
some time.
Yep.
And then, there's all the new friends here, so it feels like I'm kind of jumping back and forth between that.
Yes. So the question is sometimes it feels like we have multiple paths. Sometimes we are maybe thinking that we need to split and go down and select one path versus another. They're also, they being the universe and our spiritual selves, are asking us to stop thinking of ourselves as one-dimensional. Begin to think of ourselves as multi-dimensional, that I can do it all. Not like Superwoman, but I can do it all. I can follow where I need to go. The reason the relationships are coming back is that part of 2014 and this time that we're in is the reconnection. So it's the completion of a cycle, but it's a reconnection. But also they might be coming back into our lives to help us go to those deeper layers and those deeper levels to shed something that maybe we haven't learned yet, okay? So maybe we had an opportunity as a child to have a life lesson, but we didn't take it at that time. They're coming back. Those resources, those people might be coming back now to help us, okay? Our frequencies are also in a different place. So it's a different connection now. And you're needing to connect with different people that are at a different frequency to support you as well as to continue and help you continue on your path. Okay? Yes?
At this time in my life, I feel as though I'm in the middle of a very large family and matriarch of many, many people. And I feel as though their needs and their energies are all pulling to me for emotional support as well as other support. And I feel there's very little time left or energy left for me to be who I am because it's been pulled from me. And I'm
So they're asking you to seek another source, and another source might be connecting to your higher self through meditation. You're a walker? Do you walk? Yes. And through your connection with nature, that's another connection for you. So you would find your energy reestablished and centered when you're out in nature. Do you understand that? And so to fill up, you're in this cycle. I feel like you've got 2 more years on this, but you're in this cycle. So to help you through this cycle of 2 years is to make sure that you continue that connection with Mother Nature and that walking. Meditation can be walking meditation. It can be meditation listening to music. It can be meditation where we just let our mind go wherever our mind wants to go, or it can be quiet meditation. It can be all of those avenues. Okay. Yes?
Recently I have periods where it's almost like I'm not quite fully in my body because I'll be knock something over, or I will go to reach for something that, something I do all the time, get something out of the fridge, that sort of thing, and then it just goes. And I go, oh, isn't that interesting? So I've just been breathing through it and thinking that that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yes, absolutely. So the question in the comment is the acknowledgement that recently you have been experiencing some out-of-body or some floating experience where it feels like you're above. So there's a couple of things that they want you to hear, and then thank you for that question because it's a teaching opportunity. So one is to ground yourself, is to take a moment and breathe 3 great big breaths just to ground yourself. And if you do meditation, it's to think of your feet going down into the earth, into Mother Earth, and connecting with the root system, connecting with the crystals, connecting with the lava and the water, the streams that are there, to ground yourself. But as part of our shift in frequency, there's also very common symptoms that people are experiencing. That fuzziness or cloudiness is one of those symptoms where you just feel like, I can't think straight today. I can't add. I can't look at numbers. I've been reading the same paragraph 8 times and it's not sinking in. Those are all symptoms for us. And for students or those that are in college or high school, that can be trying as you're trying to study for a test or an exam. But that's that cloudiness and that shift in our energy field. And a good way to help us through that period of time is to take a rest period, but as well as grounding ourselves. Other things that we might notice is we might go through extreme periods of hot or cold. Anyone experiencing that? Here in Minnesota, we might say this winter everybody was cold all the time, but our bodies go through a temperature shift. And remember that a higher frequency is heat. So if you're feeling a warm rush of energy, or suddenly you get warm, we're going through a frequency shift, okay? Vertigo, dizziness. Anyone experiencing vertigo or dizziness this last year, that's going to continue because our chakra systems, which are the portals from the external energies into our physical, so into the 3rd dimension physical state, our portals or our chakras are spinning faster and broader. So it creates this dizziness in us, this vertigo, nauseous, that type of energy. Sensitivity to sight, bright lights. Sensitivity to sounds, smells. Anyone all of a sudden can't be around anybody that just wears really strong perfume or cologne. That's the elevation of our frequency. Our senses, as our DNA, our physical state moves from physical 3rd dimension to a higher frequency, we are changing. Foods. Anybody developing food allergies or things that they just can't tolerate eating, dairy and wheat are very, very common. Those things are being, we're being drawn to be noticeable and be aware of those things, where they're physically making us sick or they're physically making us tired, okay? Has anyone experienced tunnel vision in their vision, where all of a sudden your peripheral vision starts to go away and all you can see is a tunnel ahead of you, or bright lights, around you, okay? Those are all indications, or those are all changes in our sight also. And I'm sure that there's going to be more symptoms and more things as we continue to shift in our bodies. Physical activity, as well as quiet time and good sleep and good food, are all really important for us during this transition time. And know that 2014, the galloping horse, those periods of rest time, or when that horse wants to stop, that's a perfect time to just rest. So if you wanted to take a nap on a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, if you can, do. Allow yourself that downtime. That's also part of our culture, probably part of many of our upbringings, is that we just aren't taught, or we haven't allowed ourselves to just relax and be in that state of calmness. Well, Spirit is now helping us do that. Has anyone had bronchitis, pneumonia, respiratory things this last winter were really hard as your body is clearing out, opening up that lung space, that heart space. But it's also a way to tell you to slow down, okay? Because I bet for those that did get sick, you're probably always on the move, not taking any quiet time. And Spirit is going to say, okay, time out. We're going to make you sit and rest so that you can move into this evolution, okay? Time of evolution, transformation, transition, those are all words that you're going to continue to hear in the next couple of years. This is a ramp-up year. So if you think that things are crazy this year, it's going to get more exciting next year. You're saying, oh boy. Your thoughts become your words, become your actions, become how you live. Okay? Yes?
I don't know what crazy to me, but I feel now so scared of being the airplane. I was before, I don't feel comfortable being in that plane, but now I just, when airplane with,
Yep.
I start to become so scared. I feel like I need to go back Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Not to become a Mother Earth. Don't be stupid.
You're not, yep, you're not,
I'm not trusting any machine.
okay. So you're not crazy. You're not the only one. Her question or comment was, suddenly I've developed this fear of flying, and to be in a plane, and to be up in the air. Is it also to be around large machinery?
Yeah, I don't like machine too much. I connect to Mother Earth. I'm a gardener.
Yes,
And I don't trust this machine, and I don't like to be machine.
yes,
Be in the air, I like protest.
yes. So our natural state is of Mother Earth. And so if we don't have enough balance of Mother Earth, then that fear, or that being with machines or being in the air, stands out for us. And I would say, make sure you're really grounding yourself. But you're not alone in that. I have more people coming to me saying, I don't want to fly. I don't want to leave my home. I just want to be home. It's also a year of establishing those roots. And it's another way, it's another reminder to go internal, to be with ourselves. Again, we're a culture of always going outward, always doing, going somewhere, helping someone else. It's a time for us really to spend internal, to be internal with our heart, to be internal with our energy, really to say, what about me? That's really hard for a lot of you, I know that. What about me? What about my energy? What fuels me? Because when we fuel ourselves and we push that love out, remember, we connect to everyone at that higher frequency. So that's contributing to the overall goodness of a higher frequency. Yes?
Is there anyone from beyond that wants to talk to you?
There's a gentleman that's standing behind you. Is this your husband or dad?
Oh, standing behind
Yeah, yes, yes. And if you're feeling if you're feeling some warmth on that shoulder, he's just put his hand on your shoulder. So he's saying thank you, but he doesn't want to disrupt. Do you understand that? He's a very humble man. Do you understand that? He wants you to know that he's okay. He's joined you. You've been thinking about him recently. And Mama's still here? Mama's still alive? Just want to make sure I have your dad and I don't have someone else. I'm just going to ask him, he's put his hand on your shoulder. I'm going to ask him to step aside for a moment because I feel whoever this gentleman is, Mom is still here. And the message is it's around the celebration of Easter that's coming up. There's family coming in from out of town that are coming in. Is that you? Okay. Okay, thank you. Are you feeling really hot right now? Just the warmth, the energy, it's shifted over? Okay. Sorry. Our loved ones don't want us to feel awkward, so just take a deep breath. So there's an apology there, but there's an acknowledgement, and whether you're hosting or if it's at another siblings, there's an acknowledgement of just gathering the family together, particularly for your mother. Do you understand that? Okay. All right. Yes?
Can you talk about, I've been receiving like lots and lots of messages over the past couple weeks from my angels about the importance of everyone realizing who they are, like that, the power of that I am. And knowing that that can really shift you and help you stay in your power and your joy and transition through a lot of things.
Yes, absolutely. That I am spirit, that going inside to discover what drives you, where your passion is, what makes you happy, what brings you bliss. We are being asked to be in that state. And that, as I mentioned earlier, that's a hard lesson to be in because we want to give. And we still have people that are around us that are pulling our energy. So it's going to take some focus. I think for you, it's really an indication, your teacher. So also to speak those words, but also pay attention to yourself in that space, that carve out that 5 minutes or 20 minutes each day to discover what centers me, okay? The energies beyond us are chaotic, and they'll continue to be chaotic as people are trying to figure out where they're supposed to be or where their purpose is putting them. So to come back to center, and again, to ask yourself, is this my energy? Is this somebody else's energy? That's the starting point. And then once you know this is my energy, what drives me? If I want to go shopping today, or if I want to walk around the lake, what drives me? What makes me happy? Maybe the dishes can just sit for a little bit. That's what we're being asked to. But if you're getting strong messages like that, it's because you're a teacher, and it's to push that message out to others.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning with my question, I guess. I didn't state that correctly, like for humanity, about the importance of, which is what I talk about and teach people about, but for humanity in general, that it's really important for everyone to step into who they are, like know the significance of your name and why you're here and all that.
It's, for many people, it's a difficult shift because we've been taught to give to others. And many of us have come into this lifetime with the goal to be of service. So sometimes we get that confused as to service might mean giving to everybody all the time. Well, really, our relationship with ourselves is what comes first, and to be of service to ourselves first. Make sure that we are cared for first before we contribute, because that is how we contribute, is when we take care of ourselves first, okay? And that's where some of the illnesses too have come in, because it forces you to be in a steady state and not to be moving about. Okay, here's a question.
Yeah, I feel like a coach or communicator is often my job, a coach or communicator, but I was frustrated by the fact that I do not seem to be able to have establish communication with more advanced beings and more advanced galaxies. Do you have any thoughts or suggestions on that?
What they're saying is to the collective light. I'm just going to ask the collective light to come in and to begin that connection with you as you go forward. To quiet your mind. Are you also a writer?
Yeah.
So to do more writing, do more writing, and to just let it flow. What stops you is when you want to stop and look at the paper and read it back, and really your writing is just a tool to listen. Do you understand that message?
Yeah.
So,
Talking about automatic writing?
yes. Yep. They're wanting to connect. Okay, and thank you for that question, because they're saying overall they're wanting to connect with us in many ways. So it could be just scribbling, just writing. It could be painting, it could be drawing. It could be recording yourself, going into a meditative state and just channeling. They're wanting to connect with us and to give us that information. And so when we ask for that, be prepared to get that, because that's part of that manifestation, okay? All right, other questions? All right. Yes?
I was just feeling as you were talking here, someone around me that wanted to come in. Is there someone who's passed?
There are a number of angelic beings. The minute I asked for the light beings to come in, the whole back of the room just lit up. And I think as we begin to move in towards the end of the service and we draw our circle around, our loved ones are going to be coming in also. So that's what you're feeling is the collective light. So the collective light, as well as the angels, the archangels, the shaman are coming in, all wanting to contribute. The teachings, the informations that they're giving you now, so if you're feeling suddenly this warm rush of energy through you, this doesn't end here when you leave here. Okay? Not to scare you or anything. It's like they're going to be going home with you. I don't want to scare you. But just know that you've, in sitting and asking questions and asking for them to come in, you're opening that doorway. And that's okay. What a beautiful circle. What beautiful light. Wow. Take a deep breath. And know that we are all one. And the energy that we put out into the world is an indication of our thoughts, our words, our actions, and how we live. And today, I ask that you put love out into the universe. And you take a moment and you open your heart. Take a deep breath. And I ask that the angels that have joined us today, our loved ones that have joined us, the light beings, the collective light, and the shaman, that they take all our wishes, our dreams, our intents, the thoughts that go through our heads for those things in prosperity, abundance, love, laughter, light, anything else we wish, that they take those up to the heavens, to the universe, and amplify them. And that they also take any of the energies that we no longer want, the energies that we no longer need, the energies that served us in our old self, and take a deep breath and allow the energetic beings to pull that energy away. And if you're feeling any tingling in your feet, just know that it's running down into Mother Earth for healing. And as the energetic beings remove this energy, let it be filled with light and bliss. Take a moment and feel yourself in this light. And Raphael is reminding us that if there's anything that you would like his assistance on, that you ask for that now. And feel yourself be in that light once again. And feel the power of the energy of this circle, of these wonderful light beings that we have around us. And as we continue to open our heart and we move that light up into the universe, watch it move up and out into the universe and spread throughout your lives and throughout the lives of those that you touch. May you go today and continue this pushing of energy.